Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. I'm going to do a review on this cheap Mr. Coffee 5-cup mini brew that I bought at Walmart. I'm going to unbox it. Okay, so this looks like a pretty basic. The packaging was pretty basic. Looks like it follows the design of its bigger brother. It's got this flip lid. Okay, so it goes on and off much easier than the bigger one, the 12 pot. It's got the same lift lid as the 12 pot. Okay, so it comes out of the packaging pretty easy. It's got this smaller pot. It's got this hinged lid. Pretty much all plastic again, but cord's not super long. It does have this lift top like the bigger one has, the 12 cup. And the coffee pot itself, it's got this hinged lid, and it comes off for dishwasher. I do like this, so you can get your hand in there and clean this one too. I like that design. And then it snaps on, so that snapped on pretty easy. Looks like it fits in there pretty good. I'm not sure, so this does have that same design that the 12 cup has, where it's going to automatically pause. Yeah, so when you put your coffee cup underneath there, it's going to lift that up and let the coffee come out. But as soon as you take your coffee pot away, it's going to pause. It's called pausing the coffee. Okay, so before I brew a cup of coffee, it's got this time you can set. So it looks like you just set the time by dialing in whatever time you think it is. So you got to go through, okay, go to PM. And then it displays the time. The instruction manual that comes with it is not real clear, but it does have this QR code that you can scan with your phone, and it says it's supposed to bring up more operating instructions. Okay, so it's got this Brew Later. It says you can program it to start at a later date. So I'm going to press it, and it changes the display. So now let's say I want to start this pot of coffee at 5 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so the Brew Later light is lit, and I'm assuming that the time will start at 5 o'clock. It's got this Brew Now button if you wanted a pot of coffee right now, which we're going to be using. But I just wanted to show you how the Brew Later will work, and you can turn it off. So say you change your mind, just hit it again and it turns it off. So let's hit it again. So it kept that time in there, so this will be good. So the next day you just have to make sure you hit the Brew Later button, and it's going to bring up your previous time that you had set before. So if you get up every morning at 5 a.m. want a cup of coffee, you're just going to hit the Brew Later. Okay, so I just want to go over, this is like the 12 cup you buy at Walmart. It's got this lift top, so you're going to have to make sure you got a bunch of room underneath your cabinet because it's going to lift up. Then it's got this arm that swings in and out of the way, and then it's got this basket. So everything's just miniaturized than the 12 cup. And it goes in there. It will only go one way. So I couldn't find, this is a 5 cup, and I couldn't find 5 cup coffee filters. I found these 4 cups. I'm going to see if they work. Okay, so I've got the 4 cups in there. 4 cup coffee filters. It looks like they come up all the way to the top almost. I'm not sure why Walmart didn't sell, because it says it's supposed to have 5 cup basket style coffee filters, but and it doesn't come with any filters, so you're gonna have to make sure you buy some filters. But the 4 cups seem to work. They were right by it at Walmart. Okay, so the instruction manual says 1 tablespoon for every cup of coffee. This is a 5 cup coffee pot. So I put 5 tablespoons into a half a cup, and it's just not quite a half a cup, so you could probably just kind of look at that and memorize it. But it's going to be according to your taste. Okay, so this control arm, you're going to make sure it's out of the way. Then you're going to pour your coffee in. With these smaller pots, there's not a bunch of room for air, but maybe make it even. Make sure you get the control arm back in. Okay, I'm going to hit the brew now. And I'm going to dump the water in. And then with that auto stop, or that auto fill, I've got time to put the coffee pot down underneath there, and it doesn't start coming out yet. Alright, so it's percolating, it's starting to... I'm going to time it. I've got a stopwatch going. It's not getting the coffee grounds soaked all the way around, but it's doing... It usually fills up that basket with water and it kind of just soaks all around. Okay, so we're at the 2-minute mark. This is not the fastest coffee pot. We're at the 2-minute mark. We're not even up to 2 cups yet. We're still about 1 cup. But I wanted to check the auto, they call it the grab and go auto pause. So, yeah, works pretty good. That plunger stops the coffee from coming out if you've got the coffee pot removed. And then when I put it back in there, it starts back up again. Okay, so we're at the 3-minute mark, and like I thought, the water starts to kind of fill up the whole basket. Now it doesn't fill up per se, but it at least gets all the coffee soaked, and then the water is going to start going through some of the other coffee other than just what's in the middle of the coffee filter. Okay, so we're at the 4-minute mark, almost 5, and you're up to 2 cups so far. So if you wanted to take it out, it might be a strong cup, but if you wanted to take it out, you could take it out. That auto pause, it does drip a little bit, but that's to be expected with that plunger up there. And then you can throw it back in. Okay, so I want to show you that auto pause. When you take the coffee pot out, there's that plunger that comes down, keeps the water from, or the coffee from coming out, and then when you put it down, it goes in. Okay, so coming up on the 6-minute mark, you can see the coffee is pretty well saturated. I'm starting to get a pretty good brew. It's up to 3.5 cups. Okay, so at the 6-minute mark, you've got 4 cups. I put 5 cups in. I filled it all the way up to here. You still got some water that's trying to soak through the coffee grounds, so it's kind of a slower going through there. Okay, so one thing I want to tell you about is this thing has a 2-hour auto shutoff, which is nice. I'm sure you could turn it off here, and that would turn the burner off. But if you forget to turn it off here, the burner would go off after 2 hours. Okay, so after 11 minutes, all the water's drained out. It looks like it saturated all the coffee pretty good. I've got just 4.25, almost 4.5 cups. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate pouring. This is a little bigger than normal coffee mug, but so you can see you're left with just about 1 3/4 cup coffee left. I'm going to check the temperature. About 158. About 158. Okay, so I wanted to see if you have like a travel mug, what it takes to fill up a travel mug. So that's about full, and you're left, the coffee pot's just about empty. So it looks like it does about 1.5 maybe coffee mugs, maybe about 1 travel mug. Okay, so it's been about 3 or 4 minutes after I brewed a pot of coffee. You'll probably want to do this later when it's not quite as hot, but it does have these little ears on the side that you can pick it up. And what I like about it is that little plunger keeps the coffee from spilling out or any extra water in there as you take this over to the trash can. Okay, I'm going to show you what we cleaned now. So I don't recommend taking this arm out. I've looked into it, and I don't think it's supposed to come out. I think you're going to want to leave it there. You may want to wipe it down, but I do not recommend taking that arm out. Okay, so here's the part you're going to throw in the dishwasher. They're all dishwasher safe. You've got the basket. There's a close-up of that valve. When the coffee pot goes underneath it, it's going to push that up and let the coffee come out. That is a nice feature. And again, you can put your arm in here and wash it. It's just a nice, cute little coffee pot. So another feature I like of these coffee pots is this is concaved here. So the coffee is designed to go down here, but if you don't get the coffee pot underneath there exactly right, and it spills over to the side, it's going to drain down into these drains. So it's not going to get all over. That's a really nice design. I'm going to brew another pot of coffee using the Brew Later, but I just want to show you, putting this basket in, it says the word back, so it goes towards the back, and it doesn't really lock into place or nothing. It will only kind of fit one way, but just make sure you read that back, and it kind of just sits there like that. Okay, so I've got this all set up for Brew Later. Wanted to point out to you that it does have this hole in the back, so if you overfill it, it's going to make a mess on your counter. But I put exactly 5 cups in. The side glass says it's just a little bit below 5, but I had 5 on the coffee pot. Okay, so I've got this primed, ready to go. The Brew Later light's on. I've got it set to start at 5 p.m. So I've got the coffee grounds in there, water's in there, and nothing's happening, so that's good. So we're just I'll start it again whenever it starts. So it displays current time. Okay, so there it switched over. So the Brew Later light went off, and the Brew Now light came on. And it's taking it a little bit. Okay, so it's starting to brew. Now, if it was me and I did this, I would do this probably 15 minutes before I was ready to drink my first cup of coffee. Because it took about 11, almost 12 minutes before that water was completely done draining out of there. So give yourself plenty of time. The warmer's going to keep it warm for you. So I'd say about 15 minutes before you're ready to drink it. Okay, I just wanted to show you when I scan that code, it's not super simple. You scan it, it does come up, use your camera, then your camera will pop up with a link to follow, and it takes you to a Google web page, Mr. Coffee, and you gotta accept cookies. I don't like that. I'm not gonna do that. But so you click on Coffee Makers, and this is the 5 cup. So it's not super straightforward as far as I thought it would. You'd scan that code, and it would take you right to this model numbers of instruction books and all that, but it doesn't. So you got to kind of walk through it, and then you got to read this little bitty number, this BVMC PC05. So it's the right there. It's the PC05 series instruction booklet, and it's a download. So it's okay. So it brings up a PDF. This PDF does have a lot more information in it than this little booklet comes with. It's got notes on everything. You would think this would come in it more, but it talks about understanding the control panel, getting started, optional coffee maker extras. So this is a little nicer manual than what comes with it. Okay, so I want you to see that it never quite gives you 5 cups of coffee. It's right about the 4.5 mark. So if you're going to want true 5 cups, you're probably going to have to fill it just a little bit fuller, but then you got to be careful of not overfilling it out that little reservoir. And again, the 4-cup filters work really well. I put almost a half a cup of coffee in there, which is pretty strong, and it didn't even it came close to the top, but it didn't spill over into your coffee pot. Okay, so I wanted to do one more test. This has a digital clock, and who all hates setting the time after power goes out? So I unplugged it for about 30 seconds, almost a minute, and it reverted back to the normal time that I had set. And I unplugged it for about 3 or almost 5 minutes, and then it reverted back to 12 a.m. So if your power's out more than probably 3 or 4 minutes, you're going to have to reset it, and it's not going to brew your cup of coffee. So it's probably got a little capacitor in there or something. So want to thank everybody for watching. Again, this is Just a Dad Videos. I do simple videos on products that I like and buy, and I just want to help people with my reviews. Maybe it'll help you with your purchase before you buy it, because I know I look online for videos and stuff of things before I buy it. But hopefully this helps, and thank you, and please like and subscribe.